everyone. I'm very happy to be here today with Vlad Grigoriu of Code of Talent. Vlad is an entrepreneur with a very high and broad international experience. He spent almost all his life to focus and going deep in helping people and companies to succeed through the help of technology. And he's the founder, and the CEO at the present moment of Code of Talent, one of the most impressive micro-learning companies. We came across with Code of Talent back in 2020 in trainingindustry.com, one of the most influential magazine in US and at the international level for technology and learning. And we were from the beginning as VisionMind really impressed by the user-friendly and the content and the value of this platform that is matching technology, innovation, creativity, and as a really focus on the content and the importance of the human participation. So thank you very much, Vlad, for being here to talk to us and share with us some thoughts about micro-learning platform and the use of EA in a learning environment.
Thank you very much, Barbara. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so let's start with the first question. Could you define Code of Talent and how you had the original idea?
Sure. So I will start from the first days of the inception days of Code of Talent. We wanted to really tackle a relevant, meaningful problem for organizations related to learning, which is how do we transform learning into value, into application? Because we all understand the value of learning. Nobody out there would say, yeah, we're not interested, we don't care, this is not relevant. So there's a lot of pressure related to the needs and the speeds of learning and improvement. The biggest problem, though, is how do we make sure that we put in practice what we learn, that we walk the talk? We don't just go participate into training programs and any other type of learning and improvement programs, but nothing really happens because people go back to work and they go back to their everyday habits, and they simply forget what they learned.
Yes.
Or they do not have the actual means of transforming an idea or a certain knowledge they've been exposed to into the practical habit of doing things. And that's a big disconnect. So this is where we came in. We said, nobody's really responsible for the application of the knowledge, right? It's not the trainer, it's not the experience in itself, whether it's online or offline, it's not the manager. So how do we make sure that we help enable people to really connect learning with application? So this is where we focused on, and we created Code of Talent, which is a micro learning solution, meaning a very practical learning and application focused solution that is supposed to help employees, corporate folks try to really get things done, not just learn, but learn on the go, learn in a practical manner, and understand how work connects with learning. Now, technology, of course, it has to be friendly, it has to be easy to and intuitive. it has to be fun. And this is the reason why we're blending together a number of, key ingredients. And we're trying to make this process from content creation, because content has to be not just relevant and actual, but it has to be produced now for tomorrow.
Yes.
It has to evolve, it has to be agile. So content creation for us is not just within the paradigm of creating beautiful, great content, but it's more along the same line of creating practical, up-to-date content that you can actually utilize right away. Because if it is about your product, your service, your new campaign, or about anything else, it has to be super adapted to the realities of your companies that happen today, not something that happened last year, because it's already outdated. So I just wanted to kind of focus a bit on the first piece of the process, which is content creation. And you mentioned content creation and the way we understand content creation, all the way to delivering it in a very, very engaging and effective manner to your learners within your internal or external audience. We primarily focus on internal audiences, but we do have external audiences such as customers, partners, and so on. So the end result is that if I'm going through this, could be 1 week micro learning experience or 1 month micro learning program focused on anything that's business relevant, or it could be just pure soft skills, I want to feel like this program has really helped me improve in my job. So, we don't have time. We're tired of e-learning. To really kind of be very blunt, people are tired and exhausted of learning programs out there. There are millions of courses out there. You don't even have to pay for them. Some companies have even tens of learning solutions that sit internally that are very little embraced or loved by the employees. Why? Because most of them are not doing the right job. They are excellent for, compulsory courses that you have to, where you have to tick boxes and where you're obliged, you have to go through those no matter what. But that's not learning, right? It's not learning. It's not experience. It's not pure engagement where you want to feel happy and driven to be learning together with your teammates and collaborate and make things happen, right? So this is where we are, and this is why we believe we're a fresh solution, and we're definitely trying to combine content authoring with the experience of learning and application of the knowledge for whatever results that you want your teams to generate. So this is how we started off, and this is kind of a bit the, from a slightly more macro level, where we are.
Thank you, Vlad. There's a very great vision, As I mentioned, we met back in 2020, and during that period, the market was really full of micro-learning solutions, but actually most of them were just beautiful catalogs with bit and small pieces of average training content. So, communication, negotiation, giving feedback, So really engaging with video and different kind of possibilities for the learner to interact. But still, most of them were off the shelf, so already packaged, and with the idea of one size fits all. And actually, is not what you were was not your end in mind, correct? Was just more, I want to address the challenges the company is facing, even the challenges outside the average learning world, because you mentioned products or processes or new procedure. So basically, Code of Talent during this 4 year move more and more and more, if I correctly understood, from a technology environment where you could find a sort of involving and engaging way of go a bit more in deep of your learning to a technological partner for the company to address the issues and to help people to better understand what they need to do, try to apply what they had, what they learned, what they need to focus on in a very practical, easy, user-friendly way. Is it correct? Is it this the moving forward path you took?
Yes, absolutely. And I think this is very, very relevant. Thank you for bringing this up. Because the recipe of Code of Talent and kind of the problems we help solve today have indeed evolved. So first of all, as you mentioned, we sell zero off-the-shelf content. We don't have any open library of courses because we do not believe in generic programs. Generic programs are not for me. They are for one size fits all. I mean, they may be amazing in terms of, I don't know, the insights and the value of knowledge, but most probably they do not fit my needs, my specifics, my culture, my realities. So we only believe in hyper customized content. And this is exactly what we do. And this is the power of technology. And we've developed this pretty sophisticated AI engine that is really enabling you as a corporate user. You could be HR, learning and development, you could be a business manager, to create a program that solves a very particular problem related to learning, execution, and improvement, that you kind of tailor to your reality. So this is something that you will never ever find in any open library. It doesn't exist.
No,
Right?
not
So this is
really.
one thing. On the other hand, we have also evolved in terms of who our customers are, and what are the kind of the type of corporate environments where we can really make the biggest difference. And this is sales and operations. So today, most of our focus is on helping sales and operations teams
Okay.
learn, improve, and execute. Why? Because we speak the language of their business needs. For example, what's typical for where we see the highest kind of level of intensity in terms of their needs, their business critical pain points in sales organizations and operations teams are, one, related to onboarding of new hires.
Oh, yes.
So new hires need to have, a pretty effective kind of, they need to be fast tracked so that their time to productivity is not 1 year, is 3 months, if possible, for example. Also, you need to make sure that when you have new joiners, you do whatever is best to help those people engage, be motivated to learn and deliver at the same time, and ultimately not leave the company. Because a lot of the
Yes.
hires leave the companies in a very early stage within the first few months. So this is one example of a problem that we help solve, and it's pretty business critical. Of course, it's a combination of learning and actual execution, right? On the job. Another example is product training or service training. Yeah, if
Yes.
we look at the internal environments, companies are creating, improving, updating product services, new launches.
It's
They have new
difficult.
campaigns, right? So because they have to push their business forward, and so what we do, we help them enable those new launches and new products or new services to really be productive opportunities for their workforces to integrate, to internalize, and to successfully deliver to the market. So again, this is a learning, improvement, and delivery kind of business execution, market implementation.
Yes.
So we do that as well. Of course, we also help with any kind of changes and transformations that happen within the companies, and companies are undertaking a lot of changes and change and transformation projects. It could be digital transformation, maybe adopting new systems or new tools or new processes, or simply cultural transformation, because companies are undergoing nowadays a lot of shifts. So this is another area where we help companies
Yes.
and their people understand change, help them make change, and walk the talk again, because we have to be very practical when it comes to the time and resources that we have in any corporate environment. And these needs can go all the way to soft skills. But again, upskilling and reskilling, these are very hot topics, as we know, in the learning
Yes.
world, in the corporate learning world. But again, in the same uh, with the same approach and the same perspective of making sure that what we learn is relevant, is meaningful, is applied and applicable in my job and my environment. Because otherwise, generic soft skill learning could be just, unfortunately, waste of time. And what we see is that a lot of these soft skills programs that are delivered using electronic means of any kinds of platform solutions do not have the traction, do not have the engagement
No.
that is at minimum required for any learning process, where you need your mind and cognitive processes, your attention fully involved and immersed, so that you would be able to turn that into a result of any sort. So we have so technology has evolved our artificial intelligence capabilities, which we started with from the very beginning, because we had this initial vision of using AI. Of course, it has evolved tremendously. We have evolved in terms of the type of customers and companies we can best help, um, and of course the types of needs and use cases where we can really do a great job. So I think we have a pretty streamlined understanding of what we're doing nowadays. We've been learning a lot, and we are learning every day, because we are an innovation-focused company that tries not to do technology, but understand people, uh,
Yes.
because it has to do with people. It has to do with their beautiful minds and skills and capabilities within a corporate or a business environment. So we try to put everything together into a solution that is very easy to use and put at work and where your expectation is to see concrete results for people in business.
No, thank you, Vlad, for this explanation. Has been very clear and really help us to understand the the vision, the mission of Code of Talent. And we really like this VisionMind, with, let's say, these three pillars: the business acumen. So they really focus on getting results, helping the customer succeeding in getting their objective, on reaching their objectives, and the focus on the value of humanity and the value of the personal experience, the value of what we are as a human being, and the technology, and what the technology can give us as a really great opportunity to speed up our learning process and to create content quickly, most effectively, and up to the time, so able to involve even the youngest generation that are focusing on different learning experience, quicker, easier, engaging, funny for sometimes. So I experience Coti, that is the name of artificial intelligence of Code of Talent. And Coti is a really great sparring partner because it's so quick and so effective in creating your general big environment, learning environment. Of course, you can adapt then as you prefer, but is really helpful in give you a lot of ideas of, a solution to solve problem and issue. And you mentioned different companies and different organizations. Could you share some example of how Code of Talent help this organization in your international experience?
So thank you again for your kind remarks. This is indeed our number one, let's say, practical goal is to make it really easy and very, very smart as much as possible. To put this AI brain at work for the needs of our customers. In terms of experience with international companies and customers and trends that we see, we have a few verticals on which we focus a lot, and this is because we have seen great traction and very great results. One of them is pharmaceuticals. Pharma companies are pretty complex organisms with a lot of pressures and focus on innovation as well. Most of the companies are trying to be ahead of the game, and so they're very progressive minded, and this is for us very important to work with partners that are progressive minded, because they challenge us, and we try to be better, smarter, and more innovative to be able to help them enable their people and processes. Another example is retailers. They are evolving quite fast. A lot of technology adoption, a lot of digital transformation.
Yeah.
At the same time, retail is still traditional retail. I'm talking about traditional retail, not e-commerce, but brick and mortar retail. Could be foods, non-foods, doesn't matter. People are a critical strategic ingredient in these businesses, because it's all about customer experience and so on and so forth. Even though they are fast adopters of innovation and technology, and some of these, processes that we see, like checkout processes, are becoming less and less people intense. At the same time, people are and will remain an important driver of the value of this industry. Another example is banking and finance. This is another vertical that's undergoing a lot of transformation. It's a huge industry, very complex processes, a lot of challenges related to upskilling of their workforce. Most of our customers in the banking are frontline. This is why we work with retail banks in particular, where you have a lot of challenges down to the very execution of the business, that's boiling down to customer experience and customer interaction. So it's really critical in terms of how you support your customer-facing people to deliver an amazing experience in the context of having lots and lots of products, services, and whatnot. So is another industry. And another example is fast-moving consumer goods. As we know, it's called fast-moving. It's becoming faster and faster.
Yes.
And this is very, I would say, very present in our preoccupations, because there are a lot of disruptions and a lot of challenges related to the delivery and implementation in the market of whatever kind of initiatives or campaigns the fast-moving consumer goods companies are undertaking. So this is where we put at work our kind of best-in-class micro-learning, learning in the flow of work kind of experiences, because these people do not have time. They have to deliver. You cannot take them out of production. They are under immense pressure in terms of daily goals and metrics they have to hit. So enabling these people in such a limited kind of environment is quite a big challenge, and it's really where you see technology and people processes being put at work in the best possible way. Also adding this collaborative layer, because in a sales organization, in a distributed workforce that you have in the field, and this could be true for sales organizations, but it could also be true for operational organizations, like in the case of, for example, courier services or logistics, where you have, I don't know, couriers or people shipping goods all around. Learning from one another is crucial, because you have this multiplication of individual experiences in the field almost simultaneously that you can leverage, so that I can learn from the guy doing the same job in a different district or different geography, and we can literally learn just in time. So on a daily basis, we can see how each of us are doing and how we're failing or succeeding, and this is perfect. This is an example of perfect agile learning in the flow of work, and this is where technology can help, coupled with everything else. So these are a few examples of verticals or industries where we can really make a big difference. And you'd be surprised, but they have a lot of similar preoccupations.
That's very interesting, and thank you, Vlad, because it's been very interesting to learn and to listen how different industries, different level of employees, different roles and responsibilities are facing more or less the same kind of challenges in terms of focus on business, getting results, and be up to date to the change that the world is asking us to follow. And Code of Talent is really can be a really help on this, because it's, as we said before, is a tool that combine a different way of learning, that can be the content, can be the challenge, can be the social part, where people can exchange ideas and experiences in real time. And all of this, of course, can be tracked and can be follow up by the company, and can help to meet some KPIs, really KPIs to meet, to address. So really interesting. So what's next, Vlad? What will be next?
Well, we have a lot of ideas that we're incubating. We just want to be good at what we do. I think we have this vision of zero effort for our client, for the learning and development person, for example, in a corporate environment that has such a Herculean task of providing learning programs, if possible, all custom made, specific, business specific, fit for purpose learning programs for hundreds or thousands of people. So companies have limited resources, and we understand and we know this very well. So we try to leverage technology and the power of what we learn as a company working for all these different amazing organizations out there, with the advances in technology, so that we would be able to provide this zero effort experience for our companies, for the companies we work with, so that they would be able to create any program at any point in time that could be delivered with results right away for the people they need to support in their company, whether it's leadership, first time managers,
Yes.
or just people on the ground, people in the field. So we are focusing on combining the two worlds, technology with people, because we care a lot about people, because we believe crazily in the value of people. We do not believe in leaving people out, simply because it's the people who we serve. And
Yes.
and so, because we hear all these conversations about where technology is going, where AI is going, of course it's going to disrupt what we do, the way we operate, but at the end of the day, it should serve us. It should be used for our better lives and work lives. And this is what we do, and everything else is just execution. Basically, we need to get brilliant with execution, and we've been evolving quite a lot. So yeah, this is our vision.
So thank you, Vlad, very much for sharing with us the past, the present, and the future of Code of Talent. I'm pretty sure we'll follow you around in websites, social media, newspaper, magazine, because your product is really wow. And thank you again for staying with us. And have a nice day. And let's stay in tune to understand what will be the next. Okay. Thank you, Vlad.
Thank you very much, Barbara. It was a pleasure having me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone to be with us. And see you next time. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.